Welcome to Data Analysis Scholarship course using Microsoft Excel. Today we will be looking at payroll and result sheet automation. You are welcome. Once again, I'm your facilitator, Mr. Franklin. You are welcome to tonight's section. We will be looking at automating our payroll and result sheet so as to make it dynamic. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. That will be much appreciated. Amina, you are welcome. Good to have you once again. Confirm if you can hear me, confirm if you can see my screen. Welcome once again to tonight's section. I remain the facilitator, Mr. Franklin. Tonight we will be learning how we can automate our payroll, automate our result sheets, which we started earlier. I'm going to quickly run through that and then enter into payroll, how to prepare it effectively. All right, Benedict, good to have you. Ken, good to have you. All right, yes, you can hear me. Much appreciated. Let's get to the scholarship group. Let's once again go over to the scholarship group. Let everyone know. Tag as many as you can. Just use the tag as many as you can in the scholarship group. Let them know we are live. We are live once again. Tonight is a night that virtually no one will want to miss. We are going to be seeing how we can automate certain tasks in Excel and then save them as a template so that we can use them anytime we want. So that we can use that anytime we want. So let's do that quickly. Also, if you are just joining, let's hit the like button on the live session and at the same time share the link to as many as you can. That will be much appreciated. We are on a journey to ensure that majority of persons master Microsoft Excel, at least to the intermediate level. Those of us in the scholarship course, it is mandatory that we don't leave this scholarship without becoming an advanced Excel user, without becoming a pro in using Excel to analyze your data. So go ahead, go to the group, share the link, go to the group, tag as many. I want us to understand a lot. So I'm going to be starting a project. I'm going to be starting a real work project from scratch as we did the last session, and then take it off from there. Today and tomorrow will be projects. What makes you an advanced Excel user is the ability to use Excel in order to analyze data. The ability to use Excel in order to analyze data. All right, once again, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen once again. Much appreciated. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Innocent is a good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. All right, let's proceed. We will kick off NSE. Before I do that, confirm if I'm audible and you can see my screen as I proceed. Confirm if I'm audible, if you can see my screen. Do that once more. Let me get that reply once more. And if you are just joining us, tap the like button on this live section and let's get started. Let's do that, please. Let's quickly do that. Confirm if you can hear me once again. I want us to drop that in the chat. If you can hear me, if you can hear me, if you can hear me, please drop in the chat box. Let me know you can hear me, you can see my screen. I want to be sure that we are all on the same page. I have a mission to accomplish this night. Amina, you said you can't see my screen. Can someone else confirm? Can someone else confirm? I can see the screen and you are audible. Beautiful, beautiful. Amina, check whether it's from your end, because someone has confirmed that my screen is visible. Someone has confirmed my screen is visible. So please check from your end. We are starting right away. It's almost 10. It's almost 10 minutes gone. So we start earnestly. All right, let's get into what we have. Tonight we are starting, as I said, tonight, as I said, we are going to be automating payroll and then result sheets to make it dynamic, that immediately you enter your scores, everything gets calculated. Everything gets calculated. Last time we were talking about this, and I was a bit in a hurry, and some of us was like, they didn't really understand certain things I did in the last section. So I decided that tonight I'm going to be starting from this part of result sheet. After that, we move to payroll, how to automate payroll and other things. It's going to be awesome. This night is going to be awesome. By God's grace, I believe that. Okay, now for this student ID to just run between, you can use a serial number, like you can say 01 and then move down 02 and then highlight the 2 and then double click. Now something happened here. Now if you notice something, I want to use this to show us a bit of tricks anyway. If you notice something, immediately I say 01, the 0 disappears. And some of us might be having a challenge, might be experiencing such challenge. Maybe you want to enter a phone number. Maybe you want to enter a phone number and you say 080 and maybe this, for example. You enter phone number and you move to the next cell, the 0 in front of that number disappears. And for you want the 0 to remain. You want the 0 to be there. So what you will do is you can just type, you can put apostrophe. I think that's the word. I think it's apostrophe, sharp. Yeah. You put single quotation or apostrophe or single quotation. Once you do that, you can put the 0. Now once you do that apostrophe or single quotation, put the 0 and move to the next line, you see that the 0 remains. The 0 remains back, and it gives you some stuff here that shows there is something that happens before 0. Now that makes Excel to recognize this as a string, not as kind of number. So if you are typing using it as serial number, as phone number, you can do that. So here we can say this and put 0 and then come over to this place and say this and put 0 and then we draw down. So that way this comes up. Now that's if you wanted 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. If not, you can put 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that draws down to 40. All right. Now we have generated our serial number. If you want, you can use also this function which I have already taught us here. This run between to generate your base, to maybe you make it 10, 1000 for example, and you hit enter, it generates a random value for you. That is for that you can use to generate your serial number. Here is the name of the students I have already done that, here you can, let's say we are is SS3, and then we double click down. You notice Excel is forming a sequence for me, is forming a series for me. It's saying SS3, SS4 down, but that's not what I want. What I want is SS3 all through. They are all in SS3. So I can now highlight these two. What I did was to tell Excel, I don't need any sequence, I don't need any series, just replicate these things for me. And we come to autofill function and double click. So once I do that, we notice that all this down is SS3. Now, having identified their student ID, their full name, and the class, now this is where the test score. And to automate it, to make it a template whereby any teacher, any person can now enter scores for each of the students. Other things will calculate itself instead of using calculator, instead of going ahead to use calculator. So that's what we are going to be doing right away. Now for total score, this is exam score, this is test score. Then we have what we call total score. Now for English, we are going to be using a formula which is equals to this plus this. That means the English test score plus the exam test score. Hit enter. We have 0. Now to do that, I'm going to be a bit fast. I'm going to be doing that a bit fast. These things are what we have learned over the time in the class. Now watch, I will come to this autofill function, hold it and drag and stop here. I decided to use English down to Greek. Depending on the subject, the number of subjects, you can prepare that. Now what I did was to use relative referencing. Now what does relative referencing implies? Relative referencing is, remember the formula that gave this means is this plus this. And if I drag this forward, it means if I move from this to math, this one will move from this to math, this one will move from this to math as well. So what he's saying is that as I move, this will move in relative to my movement. As I move, this will move in relative to the movement. So once I move to this math, this one will also move. If I get to chemistry, this one will get to chemistry, this one will get to chemistry. So the only time that, the only aspect or the only one that the only time this will work is that if I arrange these things serially in sequential order, the way this is arranged is the way this is arranged is the way this is arranged. That's when what I did now will work. But let's take for example, here is English, this place is biology, math is here, and this scattered, and also here is scattered. They are not sequentially arranged together. It will not work. What that means is that if I move down, this might be chemistry here, and here might be, let's say, agric. What I'm doing is that I'm adding chemistry and agric together. I know why I'm explaining this relative reference, because in Microsoft Excel we have three types of referencing. We have relative reference, we have relative referencing, we have absolute referencing, and we have list referencing. In relative reference we make use of colon. In absolute reference we make use of the dollar sign. We might have had me talk about that. Also in list reference we make use of the dollar sign as well. So when we don't want a particular cell to move, we don't want it to move, we want to lock it, we make use of absolute reference, which we are going to be getting to learn as we progress tonight. So having done this, instead of doing this, another shortcut, instead of me coming here to do this, double click to calculate the rest, I come here, double click to calculate the rest. That is shorter, but that's not the most shortest, that's not the shortest path to it. What I can do is that I highlight the entire set, the entire range, and then come at the end here and double click. That should give me the result. Let me come here and double click, and then I have the result. That shows me that if I double click here, you see it's showing me that I move one step down, this one move one step down, this one move one step down. That's relative. And then I move 3 steps to the right, this one move 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one also 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 steps to the right. That shows everything is in order. Let's hit enter. Alright, this is the total score. The next we do is now to calculate the grade. Now in calculating the grade, we will make use of 2 functions. We will make use of the ifs, or what is called nested if. This is where we stopped the last time. We will make use of if and then nested if. Alright, now for this grade, I will use is to calculate for English, and then use nested ifs to calculate for math, so that we understand the two. Peradventure, you are using Office 2019 downwards. That's Office 2019, Office 2016, and what have you. Peradventure, we are using Office 2019 downwards, we will not see ifs of nested if. But if you are using 2021 upward, you will see the function called ifs in this particular regard. Alright, now someone is asking, hope we can get this template at the end of this class for practice. Those in the scholarship group, I will share the template you will use for practice. Though at the end of tonight, there will be a project assignment that will be given. At the end of tomorrow's session as well, there will be another project assignment that will be given. Alright, is something that I can do. Yes, Samuel, you are in the last class. I built this from scratch. Though I will still share the template to the group, but I built this from scratch. If you are in the last class, you will understand the process that I use in doing this. You will understand the process that I use in doing this. But however, in the scholarship group, I will still share the file to them in the scholarship group. Alright. Now to calculate grade, remember we are preparing a template so that whenever you impute the test score, exam score, everything displays. So what I need to do here is I will say equals to is, and I don't need to say much on is. We have explained that it returns the value when it's true and is for multiple criteria. So I'm going to, okay, let me remove this. What are our criteria? Let's say that we know 70 above, we have A, and 60 above we will have B. We know that 50 above we will have C. We know that 45, that's what we are using, the standard default. 45 is D, then 40 above we will have E, then anything below that is F. So that is what we are having. That's what we will have. If we have, let's say I put 0 here, anything 0 to that 39, we will have F. This is our criteria. We have 6 criteria here. So we intend to put in 6 arguments. And to do that, we say equals to ifs. We are using this, double click here. Now what is the logical test? If this is greater than or equals to 70, If that is greater than or equals to 70, comma, what do I want to have? Give me A, then that you close the quotation and put comma, and then Excel will be asking us what is the second logical test. That's logical test 2. I will say if this as well is greater than or equals to 60, comma. Remember I said in Excel, when you are writing number, you don't put it under quotation. But when you are writing anything that is not a numerical value, that is not number, you put it under quotation. So here we put B, and then put comma. If this again is greater than or equals to 50, comma, then return C for me. Then you put comma. The next is if this is greater than or equals to 45, comma, return D for me. That is the fourth criteria. The fifth criteria is we put comma if this is greater than or equals to 40, comma, then return E for me. Return E for me, comma. Then the next is if this. Now remember what we are doing here is. So we will say if this is now less than 40, that means if any of this is not same, and then if this is less than 40, comma, then return F for me. Return F. That is our argument. I want us to look at this properly. I want us to see it. You look at it. This is accept multiple arguments, multiple logical tests. That's why we refer to it as logical function. Now when you look at this, we are talking about this score here. We are talking about this. If this score is greater than 70, then give me B. If it's not, check the next argument. Excel is moving from left to right. So if this is greater than 70, return A, there is no need to check the rest. However, if this is not met, if this argument, this condition is not met, check the next condition. If this is greater than or equals to 60, then I will return B for me. However, if can someone confirm if I'm audible? If you can hear me now, kindly confirm. Okay, someone said he's back now. All right. Now, this is the if function. This is the if function. Now, like I said, I'm going to be using nested if. I'm going to be using nested if. Nested if, for those of us that doesn't have ifs on our system, then we see how we can use nested if. We see how we can use nested if to do the same thing that we just did now. All right. So I'm going to be doing that in maths, under the math column. So to calculate for math, I'm going to say equals to if. Let me double click this. So I will be using if, not ifs. Now why we call it nested if is what is going to happen now. If this is greater than or equals to 70, comma, return A for me. That's the first argument. That's the first argument. Then, comma. Now, instead of putting value if false, remember what I said earlier, that if return both value if is true, and then if it's not true, return false. That's the if. It goes either way. It has it's a two-edged sword. It has the positive and the negative. But ifs only takes the positive. That's if the value is true. So what we will do, we put another if. That's what we call nested if. If inside if. If inside another if. We call it nested if. In Excel, we refer to it as nested function. In Excel, we refer to it as nested function. A function inside another function. So we call it nested function. Here we refer to it as nested if. So that we now say if this is greater than or equals to 60, comma, return B for me. Then that's the second argument. We put comma, and then we put another if. We put another if here. If this is greater than or equals to 50, comma, give me C, then comma, that's the third if, the third argument. Then we put another if again. Follow. That's why I don't like using the nested if, since ifs comes out, because it makes the row stuff look more longer and more confusing. So I will say this: if this is greater than or equals to 45, comma, return D for me. That's the fourth argument. That's the fourth argument. Then I will put another if here. Now, if this is greater than or equals to 40, comma, then what do I want? I want E. That's now the next thing here, instead of putting another if this is not met, this is not met, this is not met, this is not met, and this is not met, then put comma here. Then if you can't see any of them, return F. That's if any of them is false, if all of them is false. If none of this is true, if none of this is true, then return this for me. If none of this is true, return this for me. There is no need of putting another if. Hence, here, remember we opened how many brackets here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way to know the number of brackets you open is the number of if function you have on this formula, or in this function. So to count it, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the number you will close. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, we close the parentheses 5 times. Having done that, you hit enter. Automatically that shows us that is F. So when you double click here, you will see that other things calculates is correct. So the same way, we are not going to be doing that for the rest here. We are not going to be doing the same thing. How will I put it? We are not going to be, I'm not going to be repeating myself. I'm not going to be repeating myself. That will be tautology, it will delay me anyway. So I have to use my autofill function. Knowing fully well, like I said, all these are simultaneously arranged. This one, math, biology, and the right, and the lights. So I will drag this here. All F. Now watch, if I double click this, it will show me that this is working with the aggregate score. So that is correct. Now what I need to do is highlight the two and then double click, the rest drop down. Okay. Now having said that, the next thing I will do here is to calculate the total score. To calculate the total score. Now, which we can call the grand total. So that's, I'll say, equals sum. We make use of the sum function. Double click this and then drag this from here down. That is our total score or grand total, and then hit enter. Then come down here, double click, the rest calculate. Here I will also do the average total, then the average total, drag this and then hit enter. Also I will drag this down. Then the next I can do is to now put the class position, so to know the person that came first, second, third, fifth, and what have you. Now another thing you can also do is to rank them based on to also grade them, stuff like that, to also grade them based on their average score, what have you. Based on that, you can also grade them on that. All right, now let's proceed. For class position, knowing the person, knowing the ones that came first, second, third, we are going to make use of the rank function. We are going to be using rank function. So I can say equals to rank, on here select rank.EQ. Now once you select it, we can make use of total, we can make use of average score. Here, last time I used total, this time let me make use of average. So I will select this. Now once I select that, I put comma. It will ask me what is the reference. What is the reference cell or the reference range? This one too, that's the cell we are referencing, or the range or the column we are referencing. So I click on this, Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control back swing to absolutely reference it. Okay, let me leave it without absolute referencing it to show you what that would have done. Now I hit enter, it gives me 1. Now if I drag down, it will be 111, which might seem to be correct. But what happened here? If I double click here, you see that this red line selected everything. Okay, now let me double click here. You see it's moving down, it's removing this one. So this rank now is not considering this one as part of the values, which might bring error to our calculation. So if I come down to this as well, if I move down this step, it will follow to exclude these ones, which makes this ranking not to be accurate. Because when the result comes out, we are going to be getting inaccurate result. So what do I need to do? I need to get to the first formula here and then highlight all these and press F4 to lock it, to lock the entire range. I'm locking the entire range, not this one. So as we are moving down, the range will remain. So now once I press F4, you see the $ assigned to each of the columns and rows. AG is the column AG, this is the column name AG. A $ is assigned to it. 8 is the row 8. A $ is assigned to it. Then $ also assigned to column AG, and then row 47, which is the row number down for the entire range. That's what we mean, and then hit enter. So if I double click here, you see that, okay, I haven't dragged it down. This is the only one that has that. So if I drag it down by double clicking so as to replace the previous ones. So once I do that, let's double click now. You see that this one moves for me. This is talking about considering AG15, that's AG15, considering this score, average score on this whole range. That's what is assessing this score on this whole range to know where this score ranked, whether it ranked first, it ranked second, it ranked third, or what have you. That's what the rank position does. Then remark, we are going to make use of ifs. We are going to make use of ifs. again for our remark. Hence, if you are using Office 2019-2016 downward, you make use of nested if. I have shown you how to use the nested if. So in our remark, I'm going to say ifs. I'm going to say equals to ifs. Now, if the average is greater than or equals to 70 as well, now, due to time, I want to do something. The arguments are the same, it's just something that has to change. Or let me proceed. 70. The argument are the same, is just to change the column names. Then, comma, give me a, let me do it again so that we follow once more. Then, if this is greater than or equals to 60, comma, let me move forward so that it will seem to be on the same line. Now, if that is so, give me P, comma, then if this is greater than or equals to 50, comma, give me C, comma, if this is greater than or equals to 45, comma, give me D, comma, if this is greater than or equals to 40, comma, give me E, comma, if this is less than 40, comma, give me F. That's what we are working with. If it's less than 40, give me F, then close your parenthesis. That's what we are working with. And then, forgive me, I made a mistake. This will be, sorry, we have something like this. Excellent. Sorry, this is remark. Excellent, very good. Then this one we can say good. This one we can call it fair. Then this one, let's say we can call it pass. And then this one, let's put fair. Let's put fair. Yes. Adegoke, you are right. I suggest we use excellent and the likes. Yeah, that's for a math. It was an error on my part. So whatever your remark will be, any remark you want to use, that's what you type here. If it's equals to 70 and above, let's have excellent. 60 and above, very good. 50 above, good. 45 fair, pass, fail. That's what we can have here, and then we hit enter. Of course, they are all going to be failed for now. They are all going to be failed. So once we double click, that's what we have. Now, the class summary, if you want, I just put this as a bonus tip. This is our result sheet template. So the only thing, you can give this to a dummy and they enter the results here. You can enter the result, you can give it to anybody, enter the result and what have you. Now you can do that. Now here you can say class summary. Now under class summary we can okay, I need to see the student name now. Let me come here and freeze. I have showed us the freeze pay. So once I freeze it, I can bring this together so that I will be having the class summary with the student name on the same screen. That's what I want. Now to get the total students available here, I'm going to make use of the count A function. I don't need to explain what counting is. If you miss that, go and check the formula when we did functions and formulas. We have dealt with all this. We have dealt with all these functions. So select this, hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow to highlight the entire range and hit enter. Now once you do that, it will show us that the total students or total number of students is 40. Total class score. Now the total class score, we are going to be making use of this. In the total class score, let me unfreeze this. Let me unfreeze this and then come to this. I need to freeze here. Let's say I freeze here for now. Let me freeze there. Okay, so as to bring this close. Now total class score will be equals sum someone is saying I can't hear you. Someone is saying I can't hear you. Someone is saying I can't hear you. Can someone confirm I'm audible? I'm audible. From my end, I can see that I'm audible. Can someone else confirm for me? From my end, I can see that I'm audible. Please, can someone else confirm? From my end, I can see that I'm audible. But, right, someone is saying I can't hear you, sir. I can't hear you at all. Check your mic. Check your mic or whatever. I think from my end, beautiful, Taiwo, beautiful. You are audible, beautiful. Okay, just Taiwo needed check your gadget, check your mic. From my end, I'm audible, beautiful. I mean, okay, confirm. 3 persons have confirmed my audibility. Okay, now total class score will be equals to sum. We get it from their grand total. So from here, select, hold Control, hold Shift, down arrow, Control, backspace to return. Why I return is so that we can see the formula once more. This is the formula that gives us total class score. We hit enter. Then average class score will be equals to AV. Will be equals to AV. Select average, then come here, Control Shift down, and then backspace, so we see the formula, and then we hit enter. That is our average score. Then the next we can do is total number of A's. Total number of A's. Total number of A's. We are going to make use of count if, but what I'm seeing here might not give me that. What I'm seeing here might not give me that. What I'm seeing here might not give me that. What I'm seeing here might not give me that. I'm trying to check it. Okay. Number of A's is, let me explain to us so that on our own we can do that. Now, number of A's is in a situation where under the grand total and their average is greater than if their average is greater than or equals to 70, that's A. So it's just like having another column here. It's just like having another column here for overall grade. This is individual grade for each subject. Now you can now have another column here which you can refer to as overall grade. So if their overall average is 70 above, the person will have A. So let me do that. Let me insert stuff here, and then let me merge and center, put it. Then let's say I put overall grade. Now here I can now use the ifs to do that, to say if this is greater than or equals to 70. I didn't even expect that this will take me time like this, comma, and then this greater than or equals to 60, comma, B, give me B, comma, this greater than or equals to 50, comma, C, then this F. So with this particular stuff here now, we can get the number of A's. So here I can come here to drag down. So once that is done, let me unfreeze here, and let's move this way. Now the number of A's can now be, you say, equals to count if. We are going to make use of count if. Now what is the count if? What is the range? This is the range. This is the range we are counting. Drag down, control backspace, comma, what criteria? Now count if A, we are looking for number of A's. Count if A, then close the parenthesis and you hit enter. Close the parenthesis, you hit enter. Then the pass rate, we will calculate that. Let's get to see what we have. So this is our templates. Let me delete this. It's not necessary. We don't need it. This is our templates. So here, let me zoom out a bit so that we can see it, or I will zoom in, but for us to see how it looks like in a full sheet, kind of. So this is what we have in a full sheet as regards to what we have. That's what we now. The next is to check what we did if it's correct. The next is to check if what we did is correct. Now, to do that, we are going to be entering random values. So under this, I'm going to use formula for that. Instead of typing straight, let me use this formula. Run between, let's say between 4, at enter. So this person has this, we drag over to this place, and then we double click down. You see that stuff is happening already in the places we put in stores. Hence, we Ctrl C to copy so that this is safe, because as it is now, based on the formula, anything I hear, it will update. So we want it to be pasted as values. We come over to this place and paste as value. So you see immediately we paste it up. It is the last updating. It's just updated everything here. So we press escape key. Under the exam score, we can say equals to rank between, let's say between 20 and 70, 20 the least and 70 the maximum. We have this, and let's drag this as well, and then double click down. Let's copy, Ctrl C, come over to this place, paste it as values, and we have our final values. Now this is what we have. Hence, we can do this to separate them. Highlight, come over to come over to this place. Let's say we make use of this under here. Highlights as well. Please, can you hear me? Yes, I think I'm audible. Can you hear me? I think I'm audible. I want to be sure. So this one on your own, you can go ahead to do this, so as to say differentiate them from each other. That's right here. Now we have our English to be 64. Now you will see that what we did is correct. 64 is B, whereas 57 is C. Biology is 82 A, and that's and so on and so forth. There are those that have F. There are those that have F, 3S, and all that. So if we drag down and check it properly, you see that everything is correct right here. And then we have our grand total, and that beautiful. I like what I'm seeing here. I need to show us something right here now. I like what I'm seeing. Now in the ranking, let me check if that happens. Let me check. Now ranking, if two persons have the same score, those persons will be of the same rank. Who is the first on this? Okay, this is the first. This is the person that came first with overall average of 70.428. That's the person with overall average. So that is our ranking. Now the next, why I said I like what happened here is this. If we don't want this to be in 4 decimal places, like we can see they are in 4 decimal places. If we want it to be to the nearest whole number, to the next second decimal places and what have you, or 2 decimal places, what we will do is this. Watch it. Before the average, we come here and put the function called round. Remember when we did this function called round? So once you put it, what is the number? The number is the average. Once it calculates the average, it returns a number. So we put comma after the average functions. This is our number. Then how many digits? We want 2. Close the parentheses and hit enter. So you see that makes it approximately to 2 decimal places. But the danger in this is that while approximating, some numbers might be of the same approximate, and as such have the same rank. But in this case, we didn't have something like that. In this case, we didn't have something like that. So let's say if I might get something like that, nothing like that. So we have our grade. So what I can do here to separate this, I can come here, make this to be in this side, then come in, I can still maintain what I have. So as not to create some space among them. So that is our result sheet, result template. So if I remove everything here, now this is your first project. Prepare your first project as in this scholarship program is to prepare a result sheet template of 50 students. Here I use 40. Prepare and you see that I have data. I enter their names, everything. You enter everything, the details. Prepare, design a result sheet template of 50 students that wrote 9 subjects. What I use is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 subjects that did 9 subjects. Please note that did 9 subjects. That is the first project assignment. Don't expect me to announce it in the scholarship group. I'm saying it now. Those who are not in class, when they come to this video again, they should also hear what you are to do. Your number 1 project is to prepare a result sheet template, and when you are done, you assess it. If everything is correct, what you just need to do is highlight everything like this and delete. It will have to be in this format. When we talk about result sheet template, it has to be in this format. That's the template. It has to be in this format. Please note that. That is the first project assignment as regards to this scholarship course. Alright, let's quickly head over to the next one, which is payroll. Payroll. I have done a bit of calculations so as to be fast in preparing this. I have done the calculations so as for us to be fast in preparing this. So what I will do, from what you can see here, is what will I do here? Okay, this, if you look at this, Control Shift down, let me delete this. You see what we have here is empty, kind of. But I will start from the scratch. Let me remove everything here so that we see how is done. Let me remove everything. And in preparing a standard payroll, you have your payroll template, the calculator. In the calculator, I have done some bit of calculations as well. Let me remove all the calculations here. Now, also this, I'm going to be explaining some of these things. Now, okay, this is the pass band. Okay, now and then we have what we call payslip. If you want to print out each of their payslip, I prepared what we have here as payslip. I designed. It's not something difficult. This is not something difficult, please. It's not something difficult. What I did here now is just, let me show you an example of what I did. Let me remove this. What I did is more like, let me say, no fee. So you see here is white, and then I come to view and remove grid lines. I'm showing you a bit of what I did here. So if I put on grid lines, you see that the grid lines are appeared. So when you get to view, if you don't want to see the grid lines, if you don't even want to see the formula bar, you remove it from here. You see the formula bar is gone. If you don't even want to see the headings, you disable the headings. That's AB. You see it, nothing like 1, 2, 3, ABC. You disable ABC, you disable it. But we need them. So let's leave it there. And for this one, I don't want the grid lines. I just want to make it in a way it looks colorful and okay. So we come here, disable the grid lines. This whole place becomes white. So what I did was to click here press Ctrl Shift forward arrow to highlight the entire column, and then come over to this place and select, I think is this one I selected if I'm not mistaken, and select this. That's what I did. So this whole place stands on its own as if it's asleep. Okay, now in getting payroll, in getting a payroll sheet, you have this, you have your employee ID, which you can generate or use the company ID system. The company ID system, or already have ID system from the company, the full name, then the department the person is working on. If necessary, if you are putting that, this is optional, but I put it bank. We have the banks the person is operating, their account details, we have the account details. This BS here means basic salary. This means basic salary. We have housing, the allowances. This housing allowance if the company gives. We have transport allowance if the company does that. Feeding allowance, airtime allowance, depending on the type of work you are doing. Allowance for airtime, feeding, utility, whatever. So if there are more allowance, you can add. But for now, I'm making use of these 3 allowances. Then after that, we have the GS. This is the gross salary. Let me put gross here and put salary here. And to explain these things, let me not assume for some of us. Let me say this basic salary. Okay, now this is gross. This is a tax, and for this particular tax we are going to be doing something, because based on the tax system, based on the new tax system, there is a way to calculate the taxable income, and is a bit shaking. From my end, is a bit shaking. I need to finish this payroll. Our network is finish this payroll. Our network is messing up. What is this? From my NBC. Why network this night? If I'm audible, I think from my end is fluctuating. It's fluctuating from my end. I seems to understand. Please confirm if I'm audible now. Network has been messing us up. Let's confirm if I'm audible now, please. Let's confirm if I'm audible now. Confirm right now if I'm audible. If you can hear me, let's do that, guys, so that we rush what we have now. So that we rush it and get it done with. Let's confirm if you can hear me now, if you can see my screen, if I'm audible. All right, beautiful. Now, as I was saying, please, if you haven't, I want us to take 30 seconds. I want us to take 30 seconds right now, hit the like button. Let's do that fast. Let's do that. Let's take just 30 seconds, not more than 30 seconds to hit the like button, so that this section will not hurt the channel. We are taking a big risk on holding this live session on the channel, so that it doesn't hurt it. So let's do that. Press the like button right now. Let's do that. I'm right now on the chart. I'm seeing the like improve. If you are with me now, like the live session, just press the like button right away. All right, let's do that. Within 30 seconds, like this section. Press the like button. Within the 30 seconds, press the like button. Thank you, much appreciated. Okay, we are going to be doing justice to payroll template. We just did justice to resource sheet template. We are going to be doing justice to payroll template, and we are going to be doing it having 3 sheets, which I have walked us through. Here we have pensions. Pension, we have the NHF, which is National Housing Fund, under which we refer to as National Housing Fund. We have NSTIF. These are if your organization has these things. If they are part of it, if they practice it, you put it as part of deduction. Then the NSITF is National Society Insurance Trust Fund. National Society Insurance Trust Fund. Then we have other deductions. We have any other deduction, like you came late, they deduct your salary, or you took a loan overdraft from the company that they will be deducting from your salary small, it falls in here. Any deduction. So you can put deduction 1, deduction 2. Any deduction, whether whatever deduction the person incurs, that will be part of this. Then after, we have total deduction, net salary, annual salary. Then we have weekly and daily. This is the heading. As we can see, this is the heading of payroll. Now, I need to emphasize this, that some of these might differ from your company based on what they practice. Some companies are not listed in the pension scheme. Some are not in the National Housing Fund, and depending on what your company practice. Every company, I believe, does tax. So I'm going to be walking us through on how to prepare this, so that immediately you enter the person's basic salary, everything will be calculated. Now let's proceed. Let's move on. Thank you, Samuel, for that. Let's move on. Now for housing, let's take for example, for the housing allowance, the company is giving 20% of the basic. That your housing allowance is 20% of your basic. The transport allowance is 18% of your basic salary. Feeding allowance is 25% of your basic salary. Now, to calculate the allowance, we can now say equals to basic salary times your rates, the rates. Now in this rating, remember I talked about relative referencing just now and absolute, because we want this to be only the one that will be referenced. We want everything here to be multiplied by 20%. Hence we press F4 to lock it. In other words, we don't want it to move. We want everything here to be referencing it. Absolutely. This times this, this times this, this times this, this times this. Absolutely. You press F4. Then you hit enter. Now once that is done, double click. The rest is done. The rest is history. Now double click. The rest is done. Now here we do the same. Equals this times this. I know why I did that. Then F4 and you hit enter. Automatically that will be done. Then you drag down the same way you say equals this times this, F4 as well to lock it, enter. Then here you double click down. Then the gross salary, the gross is equals to sum, the sum of basic and the allowances. That's gross salary. Basic plus all the allowances. So we drag to this place. We drag to this place. So we have that the sum is F9 column I9. That's this plus this plus this plus this. And we hit enter. Then we come over to this place, double click. Now some of you might be asking, why am I having dash 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 like this instead of 0? The reason is because of the formatting. The formatting is in accounting format. If we put it in general, it becomes 0. But because we are dealing with financial stuff like payroll here, it's advised that we format it. I forgot to say that earlier. Under accounting format is highly recommended that we format it under accounting format. Our formatting should be under accounting. Now, to calculate parts, we are going to skip it. We are going to skip it in order to go to a calculator to calculate our taxable incomes, so as to know what tax this person is to pay. Hence, let me come over here and do the pension. Now, okay, let's do it sequentially. Let's go to calculator to calculate our taxable income. That is what we call taxable income. It's not that you tax the person on gross or you tax the person on basic. You need to first calculate the taxable income. Then from the taxable income, you apply the tax band. Now this is what we call a tax band. If you are following recently, there is a new tax structure. There is a new tax structure that is being approved, which is going to take effect. I think it's going to take effect by next year or thereabout. I've forgotten. Now that new tax band is what we have here. We call it new progressive tax band. What that is saying, let me explain this briefly. That if your annual income is 800,000 below, from 800,000 below, there is no need, you are not paying tax 1 naira. If you are not paying 1 naira tax. But if your annual income is, even if it's a cent, a kobo, 1 naira is, let's say, is 800. Please, can we hear me? Can you hear me? Please drop in the chat if I'm still audible. From my end, it seems I'm fluctuating. Okay, now from this, the formula to calculate the taxable income, the income that we can apply tax on, is gross, the gross salary minus pension minus CRA. There is the CRA called is something consolidated allowance thereabout. Forgotten the full name. Something like considered allowance. I've forgotten the full name. Now then, minus National Housing Fund, minus the National Society Insurance Trust Fund, and other deductions. That's how to get your taxable income. How to get your taxable income. How to get your taxable income. So to do that, we are going to be having to do this. The gross, this to calculate our CRA is 20% of gross plus 200,000. That's the formula. Those in the tax reform can explain the better. Those in the tax reform can explain better. That's the formula. Now, for the pension is 8% times basic times the whole of basic plus housing plus transport and allowance. Any other allowance is not included. Only basic salary and these two allowance, housing and transport. I don't know if it has been changed, but the last time I checked, this is what I found. That still remains the transport, the pension. The pension, how to calculate the pension. For the employee, for the employer, 10%, that's different from what we are doing tonight. Then for the National Trust Fund, for the National Housing Fund, is if you look at this place, you see that is 2.5% of basic salary. Is 2.5% of basic salary. Then if we look at the next one here, which is this, is the 1%, I think so, 1% of gross. 1% of gross. So having understood this, from here we can now calculate our taxable income. However, because our taxable income is to check whether it falls on this, we are going to be dealing with it based on annual income. Let me put it that way. Based on annual income. So to do that, we are going to do this. Let's calculate our pension first. I think that will be better. To calculate our pension, 8% is 0.08. That's the 8%. That's when you convert it from ratio to decimal times open bracket basic housing and transport. So we select this plus this plus this. That is our pension, and then we hit enter. Let's drag this down. Then the NHF is equals to basic times 2.5. Let's put it absolute reference, hit enter, and then double click this. We move further. We have this to be equals to gross. This is our gross times this. Please follow me gradually, follow me. You make it absolute reference, hit enter, and then drag down. We have gotten what we need here. Let's get to this place. Now, why do I do that? Why I did that there is because I want to show us what we call linking. A linking or cell referencing. We call it linking or cell referencing. That's, I like using the word linking. So to calculate this, I'm going to say, remember, it's 20% of gross. So I'm going to put here equals to 20% is 0.2. 20% is 0.2 times. Now, what I will do is I will head over to my payroll template sheet. I will head over to this place and then select gross. Look at it here. This is my gross. I'm using the first person and select gross. Now, once I do that, I put plus. Now, look at this place. Inside here, you will be seeing what I'm typing. Or I can return back to the calculator sheet. You will see it is telling me this times the gross plus 200. I will put plus 200,000. Now, remember, we are doing this based on annual. Remember, we are doing this based on annual. So what I will do here is I'm going to put this in brackets. And annual is times 12. Annual is times 12. So I'm going to say times 12. I'm going to say this to be times 12 because we are looking at it at annual. So we say enter. This should work. Now, why is it doing this? Okay. All right. Then times 12. Okay. Now we have this 20% of, why is it giving me, do I have any value here? Okay, it's correct because this is 200,000 times 12. Yes, it's correct. That's 240 when this is 0. This is correct. Okay, now for the pension will now be equals to, let me go over to this place. What is the pension? This times 12. I typed 12 here. As you can see, I'm in the payroll sheet L9 times 12. I hit enter. Automatically it brings me here. We call it linking. I have linked this cell to the cell in payroll template. That's what we refer to as linking. Then here I'm going to say equals to, let's say I can say 12 times, then I come over to this place and select this, the National Housing Fund, hit enter, it comes here. Then here I'm going to say equals to 12 as well times over to this place and select this, hit enter. Okay, now we have gotten this. What I needed to see is that here we have it times 12 because we are working on annual taxable income. This times 12, this is times 12, this one is also times 12. All right, now under the taxable income, what we are going to have now, remember we say gross minus all this. So to calculate our taxable income, I'm going to say equals to, let me open a bracket, 12 times, remember we are doing it annual, so it has to be multiplied by 12. 12 times the gross salary here, close the bracket, minus, then let's come back to the calculator sheet, minus this, that's 1, minus this, minus this, minus this, minus this. Now I will take this one as well, minus this, for other deductions. I didn't put that here for these other deductions. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is what we have. This minus this minus this minus this, we hit enter. We hit enter. So after that, we can draw down. So we can drag down. Let's come to this place to check how many we have. To check how many we have. So as to 100, think we have 101. We have 101. So we come over to this place. Let's drag down. I believe, let me stop here. Let me stop here. Please, can someone confirm if you can hear me now? Can someone confirm my audibility? Up to this moment, so that we know that all of us are on the same page. Up to this moment, so as to know that all of us are on the same page. Someone might ask, why didn't I include this? Someone might ask, okay, I think, let me check something. Okay, yeah, it will work. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Okay, now someone might ask, why didn't I put absolute reference for this? The reason, because in that sheet here, I want them to be moving down. I want it to be moving down so that it can be calculating taxable income for each of the employees. That's what I want. But here I want them to be fixed. All the gross payroll, the gross, should this times this minus this, I want it like that. So this will be multiplying everything. So we hit enter. We have this. So if I double click now, everything is okay. Everything is calculated. Everything is calculated. And of course, this is under accounting. You know, if you are an accounting student here and or someone into financial accounting, you know that when you put something in bracket, a figure, accounting figure in bracket like this, that shows negative. That is used to remove the minus sign. The minus sign. What if I make it general, you see that minus sign will be there, but in accounting format, that bracket is used to dictate a negative figure. It's used to dictate a negative figure. Okay. Now, having done that, how can we now calculate our tax amount? Remember, what is holding us is our tax amount. So to calculate our tax amount, we are going to be making use of ifs. We are going to be making use of ifs. Why are we doing all this? To ensure that every of our stuff is automated, everything is correct, so that when we enter our figure, we have everything set once and for all. So we are not going to be doing this all over again. So we say equals to is. We double click here. Now follow me now. Follow me please. Follow me. We are going to say if this is less than or equals to this, F4 to lock it, comma, what do we want? Let's say 0, we put 0 because 0 rate is 0. This, comma, remember again, if this is less than or equals to this, lock it, F4, comma, what do we want now? What we now want is this times 0.15. I know why I'm using the decimal. I don't want to be pressing F4 to lock. So if this is less than or equals to this, what do I want to return? What value do I want as my tax income or tax amount rather? This taxable income, multiply it by 15%, which is 0.15. Hence we put comma. If this is less than or equals to this, comma, what do I want? I want this times 0.18. That's 18%. Then I put comma. What else? If this is less than or equals to this, what do I want to return? We put comma. I want to return whatever this multiplied by 0.21. That's the tax rate band for this for this range. Then we put comma. Then this, if this is less than or equals to this, which is 50 million, comma, what do I want if the value is true? So I need Excel to return this value multiplied by 0.23. That's then we put comma. Then for the final, we are going to say if this is greater than this. Remember 50 above. So from anything above 50 rather. So if this is greater than 50, if it's 50 above, then it will be greater than or equals to. But here is anything that is above 50. So if it's greater than this, remember to lock it. Remember to lock it. F4. Remember to lock it. F4. Also to lock this. F. To lock this one as well. Remember that, very, very important. Remember to lock them. So if this is less than, if is it less than that? If it's greater than, if I'm not mistaken, this should be greater. If this is greater than 50, comma, what do I want to return? I want you to return this times 0.25. Please get it correct now. This is what we should have. I close the parenthesis. In calculating the tax amount, the amount that we are going to take as tax, and note this is annual tax, the total tax for the year based on that particular amount the person is earning, based on that amount the person is earning at that moment. So this is what we have. So if the person's salary increase, next month we increase the person's salary, and the person's salary may be moved from 3 million annual becomes above 3 million annual. Automatically the person will start being in the tax band of 18%. We don't need to do any further calculation again. It's just once the salary increases, everything will be updated. So here we have this, and then we hit enter. We have this. Then the next we will do is you double click to drag down. Now that is the tax amount. Then having done that, we come over to our sheet here. Now how much is our tax? Now the tax is going to be equals to, we come to calculator here, this divided by 12, so as to get the tax the person is going to pay per month. Remember, all this is based on annual, but in our payroll is monthly salary. So we are going to divide the tax amount by 12 to get the actual amount the person we are deducting from the person's salary based on that month. So that's what we are going to do, is say equals to this tax amount divided by the division sign is slash divided by 12. You hit enter, automatically it displays here, and then we come over here, double click down, we have our tax. Then other deduction is here, hence we calculate our total deduction. I'm trying to be fast so that we can complete this within the next 5 minutes. Equals total deduction is equals to sum. We are going to add every of the deduction we have. So we say sum. Our deduction is from here. We select down to this place. Tax, pension, NHF, NSITF, other deductions, they are all part of the deductions. So we put total deduction as this. We hit enter, and then let's double click down. Our net salary now will be equals to, our net salary will be gross salary minus total deduction. What I'm using is both formulas and functions in preparing this payroll template, in preparing this payroll. So once that is done, I hit enter. That's our net salary. Let's double click down. Then annual salary will be equals to net salary times 12. Hit enter. That takes down. Then let's double click down here to have all this. We are working on templates. The weekly salary will be equals to annual salary divided by 52. That's 52 weeks next 1 year. Then we hit enter. Then we drag down. Then daily, as we round up, is equals to annual divided by 365 days. If we are in leap year, 366. So we double click down. This becomes our payroll template. Now someone might ask me, what if you don't want this to display, you don't want someone to come and see it, you can do this, you can highlight this whole stuff and come here and select white. The letter is white, the letters are there, the values are there, but I choose white so that it will look as if nothing is there. If I select the color black again, you see it comes up. If I come here select white, it disappears. So here these are some tricks we use. So here I can select all these places, click on this, it disappears. Any of them, nothing else. Here we have something. Okay. So here if I come to put in basic salary, so we see the magic of what we have been doing all this while. So I say equals to, let me select a random value. Let's say in between 50,000, the least 50, and then let's say 1 million. For example, hit enter. Now this person's basic salary is this. Now let me draw down. Now you see what we have here. You see what we have here. Now, beautiful from what we have. Now if you look at this, you see this person is not paying any tax. This person is not being charged for any tax. Though the gross is 2 something. Let's check in our calculator. Here, that means there might be an error in what we did. Let me check what happens here. Okay, let me check the pension here. Okay. Okay, this is updating. Let me even rectify this first before doing any other thing. Let me rectify this first before doing any other thing. Control down, Control Shift down arrow, Control C. Get over to this paste as values. Okay. Alright, this is this. Pension. Let's get to this place. Okay. Okay, I see my mistake here. Think I'm seeing my mistake here. Let me think I'm seeing my mistake here. I'm seeing my mistake here. It's not. Okay, I'm seeing my error here. Alright, we can correct it. We can correct it. Let me delete this. The challenge is from the taxable income. The first one is correct. The second one I'm trying to look at what to make it dynamic. Okay, the first one is correct. The second one, alright, I think there won't be any need for this. I think there won't be any need for this. Let's do it all over again. There won't be any need for that. Okay, the gross is this minus the CR minus pension. Let's go over to this minus this minus this minus this. That's what we should have, so that if it's moving down it will move down as well. Then minus this. Then minus, let's come over to the calculator, then minus no, that's gross. Let's come over to this, minus this gross, plus 200,000. So we put this in brackets, put this one in bracket as well. So we put this in bracket, put this one in bracket as well. Then we trace this formula because they are going to be times 12. Then I think put it in bracket, put it in another bracket, and then here times 12, making it annual. Okay, I'm checking the validity of this math. This minus this minus everything, all this, they all have times 12. So this is times 12, this is times 12, this is times 12, this is times 12. And then this one also, whatever comes here, okay, what we have here will be 20%. Yes, 0.2 times 0.2 times the gross plus this. That's what we will have. And they are all going to be minus. After everything here is going to have this minus sign. Is going to be minus this. Is going to have that minus sign. And all of them multiplied by 12. I think the math is correct now. I think the math is correct. All of them multiplied by 12. So this and this is this. And then let's say we close this again. So with that, I will hit enter. So I will have this as taxable income. I will have this as taxable income based on what this person is earning, 600. I will have this as taxable income. And this, then if I drop it down, yes, everything updates. That is what we have, everything updates. We should have a positive figure. unless the person value we should have a positive figure. Even if it's less than 800, that means the person will not receive tax. Now let's look at this here. We have basic salary. All these ones, all these persons basic salary can get all over 800,000 annually. So it's valid from what we have here. This person is 60. At the end of the day, what do we call it? We have 99. So let's check the calculator. Know if there is someone earning less than that. So we don't have anybody of that figure. So when we get to our payroll, let's move up. We can see the gross. This person gross is 240 and all that. Then when we move to the tax, the person gross is this. When we 144, the person is paying a tax of okay, this is pension. The person is paying a tax of 67,000 deducted. So at the end of the day, this person is earning net salary, this which shouldn't be, is this shouldn't be. If this person is earning annual salary of this, that person should not be charged as. That means our calculation is not really correct. Our calculation is not really correct in the taxable income. Under the taxable income, did I make any mistake in the formula? Did I make any mistake in the formula? That means I didn't want to follow this route before. That means I have to follow the route here. Okay. Okay. If I cool down and check this, I will really get it. But the thing here is where the challenge is in the formula for the taxable income. The formula is correct, but is trying to lift them from here to this place. That is a bit challenging. Doing it directly here, okay. Another thing we can do is to have these things here, CRA here, this here, and make it by 12. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. Let's quickly do that. That's another way we can do that. Then we have pension. I really want us to finish this to get the accurate stuff so that NSITF and then other deduction. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. So this one will be equals to gross. That's this. I believe believe this is the first one, will be equals to gross times, I think is 20%, times 0.2 plus 200. Then now, is it this place I'm making a mistake? Is this okay? I think it's this place I was making a mistake. The gross here has to be, the gross here has to be annual by 12. So this will be times 12, then plus this. That's what it should be. So I will hit enter. That's what it should be. Then drag it down. Let's drag it down. Pension will be equals to, let's come over to this. This is pension times 12. Hit enter. So let's check if what we have is correct. This is 66. That is correct. Pension annually. Let's drag it down. We have this. Then here we also have equals this times 12. Hit enter. Let's drag this down. Then the same we have equals this times 12. Alright, we drag it down. Other deduction is there. Any other deduction will be this equals this. Then we select whatever value that is here. Hit enter. Okay. Let's check this. 9,000 to this is okay. Alright, it's correct. Now, under the taxable income now, these are 12. I think this one is times 12 plus these are. So under the taxable income, we are going to be looking at gross. We are going to be looking at gross equals 12 times gross. This is this minus, let's get back to this, minus this minus this minus this minus this. So since it has serial, I'm not going to be putting anything absolute reference. Minus this. Hence I will hit enter. So I have my taxable income to be this. Let me drag this down for the rest. So I have my taxable income to be this. And then this what we have, then I'm going to drag down. So this changes to this based on what we have here. This is my tax amount. All right, I think this is now okay. Is now okay. So yes, it's now okay. Based on this one, no tax. This one, no tax. This is now what we should have. So once we now get back, I was trying to see if there is a way I can use absolute reference from here. It didn't work. So let me delete this so that we don't confuse ourselves. Now, so we have this one is times 12. This is times 12 of this, because we are doing annual. Everything we have here, 20% of gross plus 200, everything, this gross will be multiplied by 12. I think the mistake I also made earlier was multiplying this one, everything here by 12. It's only this gross that will be multiplied by 12. That's why I told us to focus. It's getting a bit tricky. It's getting a bit tricky from here, because if we don't understand these things, we are going to have error in our calculations. If we didn't check and debug our error, check if everything is correct, we are going to have errors like I did. So if you look at this, this is 20% of gross. So your gross is what you are going to multiply by 12, not everything. So if you multiply your gross by 12, you times it by 20%, that's 0.2, then you can now add 200,000 to it. That's where the mistake was earlier. Then with this and this, so here the pension is by 12, you multiply it by 12, this one also by 12, like we see here. So if we now go to our payroll sheet, we will see that everything will now be in order, like this one that is gross, has gross, this person is paying a tax of this. At the end of the day, the net salary is this. This person net salary is this, based on the annual salary. You see the annual salary is over $1 million, over 800,000, hence the person is paying 15% tax. The same way this gross here, and this is net. This person net is where is it? Okay, this person net is yeah, this person's net is 300 and something, that gives his annual to be 3 point something million. I'm trying to see the one that the annual is not up to 800, that doesn't have tax. Where is it? Wow. Please confirm whether it's okay now. Confirm whether it's okay now, please. Confirm whether it's okay now. confirm whether it's okay now. Is my voice okay now? Alright, what we can do is later we can also try to rewatch it and see. Okay, maybe my voice is lagging. Maybe network is causing me to lag. Alright, we are going to end here. I think everything is correct. Everything is correct. We are going to end here. Everything is correct from the calculator sheet. On this calculator sheet, everything is correct. Our CR is 12. This is pension 12. This one times 12. So our taxable income will be the gross, which is payroll. Under the payroll temp, J9 times 12. That's times 12 of the gross, which is annual, then minus whatever we have here. Minus whatever we have here. We have our taxable income. This is the tax amount. This taxable income. This is the tax amount we are going to pay. Now under the place, there is one I saw here. Yes, this one is J77. J77, let me press it from here. Gross is J77. So that is it here. That's J77. The person is earning 99 basic. From that, he is not paying tax based on his taxable income. Under the taxable income, when you minus the deductions, is not up to the income, is not up to what do we call it? The income is not up to what we can refer to as taxable income. So here we have this. Let me, so that I can trace this very well. Those in the financial, what do we call it? Those in financial J9, J77. Net is 89. Okay. 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 We have this. All right. I think everything is set. Everything is set from the gross. And we do that unless there is another explanation from what I know. But from the one I know as regards to the formulas are correct, the functions are correct, then let me know in the group if there is a misexplanation as regards to the aspect of this. That's where I'm still having, I think it should be, I think it should be by, I think it should be multiplied by 12, but let me know if it's not. I think this is where I'm having, I should be multiplied by 12. I will find out, but it should be multiplied by 12 because what we are dealing with here is annual. Since the gross here is multiplied by 12 based on the tax band here. So this should be all by annual, all by 12 multiplied by 12 multiplied by 12. Then this one, when lifting it, will be divided by 12. This is the tax amount for the year.